You say that insurance companies intentionally, and I quote you, confuse their customers and dump the sick, all so they can satisfy Wall Street investors. How are they intentionally confusing customers and dumping the sick?
Well, they confuse customers by just not being transparent, by not providing the information that a lot of us need. A lot of people don't know that their insurance is inadequate, and that's why so many people are finding that they're in the ranks of the underinsured because they just don't have any idea that their coverages are not good enough. They dump the sick by purposely looking at applications when someone files or has medical claims, whether you have a major illness or a major accident. If you buy your insurance through the individual marketplace outside of your employer, you have to disclose whether or not you've had a pre-existing condition. If you leave something out, if you forget something, or don't even know something that is relevant that might be in some doctor's notes, the insurance company will use that as justification to cancel your policy.
The forms I've seen on my own insurance thing are incredibly complicated. I mean, they make your head hurt. Are you saying that's intentional?
It's very intentional. I mean, these companies make billions of dollars a year. They could certainly make these forms a lot clearer and a lot more easily understood, but it's not a priority.
Cigna, for the record, denies that they dump customers, and they told us, and I quote, that Cigna complies with all regulatory requirements regarding setting rates and policy terms consistent with our mission to provide individuals with a path to health, well-being, and a sense of security. Is that the kind of statement you used to write?
It is, and I'm not surprised. For one thing, the regulations are not adequate to protect consumers. That's one thing, and it should be part of reform to keep this kind of stuff from happening. Senator Rockefeller in the Senate has asked Cigna, and I'm sure probably other insurers, to come and make sure that they're telling the truth, because you can look through transcripts when these executives talk to Wall Street analysts, and you'll hear them use the term purge. So it's there. They acknowledge it. They say they do when they're talking to analysts, but they say they don't when they're talking to other people.
You're also alleging that the healthcare industry right now is engaging in what you say are dirty tricks to stop healthcare reform from being passed. What kind of dirty tricks are you talking about? And just specifically, to be clear, are you accusing Cigna of engaging these tactics?
Not Cigna. I'm talking about the industry, because during my career, I served on a lot of industry committees through the trade associations and on a lot of trade groups that were funded by front groups that were funded by the industry. The way it works is that the industry will hire big PR firms that create these front groups that have names that have no association with the insurance industry, and it is these front groups that do the things that you're seeing right now that try to destroy healthcare reform by using terms like government takeover of the healthcare system, or we're heading down toward a slippery slope towards socialism, or we're going to kill your grandpa because of this healthcare reform.
You're saying that language is written by insurance companies?
Absolutely.
But I mean, you know, the folks who are showing up at these meetings, I mean, they're not being backed by, they're not being paid to go there. I mean, there's a legitimate anger, there's a legitimate opposition, concern not just about healthcare, but about, you know, massive deficits and government intrusion.
Yeah, the other thing that they do, the other way that they work, is the PR firms have very good connections with people that those folks listen to. They have very close ties with the conservative radio talk show hosts and commentators and editorial page writers, and they feed the talking points, they feed the...
Did you used to do that?
I did, absolutely.
What do you mean feed talking points to radio talk show hosts?
Well, these PR firms have very close ties. They have good relationships with the producers, with the talk show hosts themselves. They will say, look, you need to understand this about healthcare reform. You need to know that if this bill passes, then this is going to represent a government takeover of the healthcare system. It's not true, but it is the kind of language that the talk show hosts will welcome, because it is ideologically in sync with their worldview.
Interesting discussion. Wendell Potter, we'd like to have you back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.